Now on CoastTV News.
Ocean City eyes Erin as the hurricane heads north. How staffing is leading to concern for the Ocean City Beach Patrol. Park problem, why some parents in Lewis say a playground downtown is dangerous.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. We are now going to take a live look outside at Milford, a very gloomy look outside at Milford. Our first meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono, is going to be joining us. Chris, it is a stormy, gloomy Tuesday.
Yes, it is. Pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw yesterday. A lot of low clouds out there, some scattered showers and drizzle, a lot of wet roadways out there as well. That's kind of what we're dealing with across Sussex County. Not all that heavy, more nuisance Friday. Where the heaviest rain has been occurring has been Accomack County. There's been flash flood warnings down there. That rain barely moving, but beginning to push off the coast. And this is all thanks to a stalled out front. We have a weak area of low pressure down there across Virginia. Temperatures right now holding in the upper 60s, 68 in Milton to 68 in Lewis. We may bump these temperatures up a degree or two heading into the afternoon. You can see that persistent onshore flow gusting upwards of 28 miles an hour in Indian River Inlet. And then you see the wet lens there in Laurel, 68 degrees, winds out of the northeast at about 8 miles an hour. And we'll be with the scattered showers and drizzle throughout the afternoon. Tropical Storm Watch, we have that from Fenwick Island for the coastal communities all the way down to Ocean City, and this kicks in tomorrow evening through Tuesday evening. Now you see Hurricane Erin, current satellite imagery, 104, so we've had some weakening. You kind of see, it looks like someone took a bite out of the northwest corner. We have some wind shear eating away at some of it, but expected to strengthen back into a 3 and then push to our northeast, well off our coast. So what's that mean? Well, the center is going to be about 400 to 500 miles offshore, but that wind field is going to expand. Swells 8 to 13 feet. Highest will be Thursday, and those tropical storm force winds, we expect them to get towards the coast late tomorrow evening through Thursday evening, and then we'll expect tidal flooding, beach and dune erosion is going to be likely as we push through the week. We'll talk more about Erin, and when we'll see some sunshine and some milder temperatures in that full 7-day forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. And new this morning, all drive-on crossings and swimming beaches at Cape Henlopen are closed. Officials say the closure is due to high surf and unsafe conditions like Chris just mentioned. Officials will monitor the area over the next few days and updates will be provided when available. And with those conditions expected to get worse as Erin moves closer, we are getting new word from the Ocean City Beach Patrol. Staffing is down as some of their lifeguards have gone back to school. According to the Beach Patrol, their lifeguard stands are now getting further apart on the beach. They are urging people to swim in front of those stands and not to swim when lifeguards are off duty. Lifeguards will end their day at 5:30. And due to high winds and heavy surf conditions expected with Hurricane Erin, the Rehoboth Beach Patrol is posting a red flag advisory. That means the conditions are in the high hazard category. The patrol says the heavy surf and increased rip tides will likely continue to increase through Thursday. According to Dewey Beach officials, they are closing the water for swimming because of those conditions. Delaware Governor Matt Meyer has lifted the state's drought watch nearly 10 months after it was first declared due to the prolonged low precipitation. The decision follows a recommendation from the Water Supply Coordinating Council, which confirmed that rainfall, groundwater, and stream flow levels have returned to normal. Officials say recent months brought above average rainfall, especially in July, helping recharge water supplies and improve conditions for agriculture. We have an update on a story we brought to you on Monday. The Lewis Parks and Recreation Committee made no decision on a fence at Canal Front Park. The playground was reopened this spring with accessibility upgrades, but now some parents are asking the city of Lewis for more. One woman started a petition asking for the installation of a fence. That petition has more than 200 signatures. She worries about the risk of drowning, proximity to the water, and says a fence is an added layer of security.
In no way does a fence replace parental supervision. I think anyone who has been to the playground with several children can attest, like I said, to how quickly toddlers can be. This is not a replacement, it's an added layer of protection.
And according to Park, the commission questioned the need for a fence, and she says they are considering bringing up the issue at the next meeting in September. Funeral services for former Delaware Governor and Congressman Mike Castle are happening this week. A visitation for Castle will be held at the Chandler Funeral Home in Wilmington from 5 to 8 p.m. Thursday, with overflow parking available at St. Mary Magdalene Roman Catholic Church on Sharpley Road. A funeral mass for Castle will be at St. Joseph on Brandywine Church at 10:30 a.m. Friday, and a celebration of life will follow at the Wilmington Country Club. And for more on Castle's legacy and funeral arrangements, you can check out our article on CoastTV.com. A possible development in Milford on your screen right now is the area being proposed for a major subdivision. Carlisle Lane LLC is set to present plans for this in front of the Milford Planning Commission. According to the agenda, the project calls for 39 townhouses and one single-family home. The land is over 4.5 acres large. Documents state the current use of the land is vacant aside from 2 single-family homes. Tonight's Milford Planning Commission meeting will take place at 6 o'clock. On Monday, several top European leaders joined Ukraine's president at the White House to urge President Trump to push Russian President Vladimir Putin to a ceasefire. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the conversations as President Trump pledged a lot of help for the war-torn ally.
After a warm meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky.
It's an honor to have the President of Ukraine with us.
Thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war.
And a striking gathering of European powers flexing their collective muscle in Ukraine's defense.
We want a robust and long-standing peace.
President Trump posting that he called Russian President Putin and has begun arrangements for a long-sought meeting between Putin and Zelensky. President Trump caught on a hot mic telling the French president he thinks Putin wants to make a deal for him.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that, as crazy as it sounds.
President Zelensky sharing a battlefield map, pressing to ensure any peace deal protects Ukraine's territory and includes guarantees against future Russian attacks.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything.
President Trump saying Putin agreed to allow security guarantees, the president not ruling out that U.S. troops could join Europeans in a peacekeeping force.
When it comes to security, there's going to be a lot of help.
European allies praising the push for peace while pressing for an immediate ceasefire, something President Trump has backed off of after his Alaska summit with Putin, now arguing negotiations toward a broad peace deal can continue while the fighting rages on. In
Milton Duncan decision. What are the next steps in the coffee chain's efforts of setting up shop near the Broadkill River? Happening today, Dunkin' Donuts is seeking final site plan approval for a drive-through store in Milton. On your screen right now is where the Dunkin' Donuts will be located. That is 403 Broadkill Road. The Planning and Zoning Commission is set to discuss this at its meeting tonight at 6:30. Dunkin' first made its pitch to the town in fall of 2024. The original plans call for over 2,800 square feet for the coffee chain restaurant. And staying in Milton, Calliope Project is asking to build an addition to the Milton Theater. The plans call for the consolidation of 2 parcels and the construction of 2,800 square foot addition to the existing theater building. The project also calls for an adjacent paved area for access from Front Street extended. A public hearing about these plans is scheduled for that Milton Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Yeah, we're taking a live look into a soggy ocean view. Low clouds there, seeing some drizzle, 68 degrees with that onshore flow, and we'll be socked in the cloud cover and dodging the light showers and drizzle through the afternoon. Get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Look weather phone, and congratulations to our umbrella winner, Gordon Johnson of Millsboro, Delaware. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. Coming up, we'll have the latest track on Hurricane Erin and what it means for Delmarva coming up. Well, the weather not really providing a pep in our step today as we take a live look into Cambridge, seeing the cloudy skies there. Temperature 70 degrees, wind out of the north in Cambridge, and we may see the temperature rise a couple more degrees here through the afternoon, but not expecting much in the way of a rise in temperature due in part to those low clouds. We're seeing a few scattered showers pushing across Sussex County, some areas of drizzle, not all that heavy. The heaviest rain has been confined to Accomack County with flash flood warning there, but that rain is beginning to push off the coast. And this is all thanks to this weak area of low pressure centered over the Virginia coast there and the stalled out front. And that onshore flow, a combination of that and this high pressure to the north is allowing for this persistent onshore flow. This front back off to the west, that's going to kind of help kick Erin out to sea as we go into Thursday. We're at 69 in Lewis, 67 Gumboro, and we're at 67 Milford. There's those winds gusting upwards of 10 to 30 miles an hour, with the strongest winds right now at Indian River Inlet coming in at 30 miles an hour. So we have the high surf advisory up for the coast. That runs through Friday. Dangerous surf is going to continue to grow. Looks like the National Weather Service just issued a coastal flood advisory, and I expected that. And when you see that high surf advisory all the way down to Chincoteague, and then that tropical storm watch for the coastal waters of Ocean City right through Assateague Island down to Chincoteague, and that kicks in tomorrow evening. So here's the latest on Erin. Currently a Category 2 hurricane, 105 miles an hour, kind of getting eroded by a little wind shear. But we're expecting that storm to continue its intensity over the next day, could go back to a 3 and then race off to the northeast. And still the center is going to be well off our coastline, but we are still going to feel the effects. 71 through the coast this afternoon. We're at 73 for the inland areas. Scattered showers and drizzle continue through the evening, and then as we go into the overnight, some patchy fog, low clouds continue, and then as we go into the day on Wednesday, that front pushes a little bit to the north, dry out a bit, and we'll see those temperatures, I think, get up into the lower 80s with an isolated shower chance. And then by Thursday, we're socked in the clouds. These are the clouds, the outer bands from Erin, but we do stay dry as far as any precipitation is concerned. Look at those winds by Thursday evening, Thursday night, gusting 47 miles an hour. Bethany Beach 46 in Rehoboth, and those winds will continue into early Friday morning before we see things begin to wind down. So there's the hurricane, there's the wind field. I said it's going to expand as it pushes north, and you see those tropical storm force winds kind of grazing the coastline as we go into the day on Thursday. So there's those wave heights. We've been telling you about them. 4 to 8 feet today, upwards of nearly 13 feet by Friday. So best advice is to just stay out of the water over the next 3 days, because we're going to be dealing with life-threatening rip currents and that dangerous surf eroding the coast. So we have that high surf advisory 6 a.m. through Wednesday, and then there's a look at the wave heights peaking at 8 to 13 feet by Thursday. So there's Erin exiting to the northeast. We have high pressure building in by Friday. 73 dreary, damp conditions today. We're at 68 overnight. 82 for your Wednesday with an isolated shower. The good news is the sun's going to be back out in full force by Friday, and the weekend looking pretty nice with temperatures in the low 80s.
Sounds great, Chris. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Coming up today on Coast Life, we check in with our meal of the week, dish of the week. You won't want to miss it. I can feel my mouth watering right now. And on top of all that, we've got our great debate. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Don't want to miss any of this. It's all coming up on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
A heads up for drivers in Milford. DelDOT will begin painting Route 1 bridges between Cedar Beach Road and Northeast Front Street on Friday. On your screen right now is a map of the area. The purpose of that project is to clean and paint the structural steel and concrete. DelDOT says work should wrap up in the fall. Drivers can expect lane closures Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And as kids are going back to school and summer starts to wind down, there is still plenty of fun to be had on Delmarva this fall. The Cape May Lewis Ferry just announced the return of its zoo excursion package. Beginning in September, families can take the ferry from Lewis to Cape May on select Mondays with special rates that include round-trip transportation and zoo admission. The zoo recommends reserving your trip in advance as this excursion fills up quickly. Coming up, bikes on the boardwalk stalled. We'll tell you where Ocean City officials stand in adding more time to the rules. On Monday night, the Ocean City Council considered increasing the times bikes are allowed on the boardwalk. An amendment to add skateboards to the proposed change was also discussed. As of right now, bikes can ride between the hours of 2 a.m. and 11 a.m. The proposed change would increase the hours from midnight to noon. One bike store owner in town thinks that will increase safety for people riding back home from work.
I think it's a good idea to keep the ones on scooters and bicycles out of the streets that don't get run over on the way home.
And Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan expressed opposition over adding skateboards to the proposed changes, citing enforcement concerns. And coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 7 o'clock, we have live Shorebirds baseball as they take on the Kannapolis Cannonballers. Then at 10:30, it's the final score.
Well, there's a soggy, damp Tuesday out there in Milford. See the wet roadways, the water on the lens there, 67 degrees, very cool out there. And we're going to stay generally in the lower 70s this afternoon, bump those temperatures up a few more degrees with the scattered showers and drizzle. You get your forecast anytime, as always, by dialing the First Look weather phone, sponsored by Broxton and Dallas Federico. We'll have a look at your 10-day forecast after the break. Well, it's another gloomy day on Delmarva as we're socked into the low clouds and spotty showers and drizzle through at least about 3 o'clock. I think we'll dry out a bit through the evening with temperatures topping out in the lower 70s. High surf advisory 6 a.m. Wednesday through 6 a.m. Friday. Here's the wave heights we're expecting. Those swells upwards of 8 to 13 feet by Thursday. That's when we expect the highest wave heights. And then still even by Friday, expecting sunny skies by Friday, still dealing with wave heights upwards of 5 to 8 feet. Now your 10-day forecast shows that dangerous risk of rip currents continuing through Friday. We're at 82 Wednesday with an isolated shower chance. Thursday we see mostly cloudy skies with even an isolated shower chance. Most of the rain from Erin will stay off the coast. Sunshine by your Friday, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a gorgeous end of the week, and the weekend looking really nice too. Look at that, a lower 80s, and then we'll see another cold front come through Sunday into Monday, and then those temperatures staying pretty cool next week in the upper 70s.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. And for more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.